last game in about 5 weeks. Here's Grant Nisbet.
All Blacks in the first half playing into the wind. It looks as though Leinster won the toss, decided to play with the wind, and here's Frano Bodika. Quite a stiff breeze blowing from left to right as you see it. All Blacks coming through quickly, and it was deflected nicely by Ian Jones into the arms of Graham Purvis. And so the first line out of the match will take place on the 22-metre line in Leinster territory. Now look for number 4, Neil Francis. He's the big tall man. He's standing alongside Ian Jones. Jones is a tall man. In fact, Francis is in 5. And Jones is a tall man, but Francis is even bigger. That's the battle in the middle of the line out. Ball going towards the back. Nicely picked up by Schuler for the All Blacks. Coming now to Deans. All Blacks running left through Bodika. Ridge is in. And the tackle well made as Warren Gatlin came through. And hello, the All Blacks have conceded an early penalty as they win it over the top. And so Leinster have this relieving penalty just 10 metres out from their own goal line. Guy Moret there explaining to Gary Wetton exactly the ruling. The kick from the halfback Fergus Ahern. 8 current or former internationals in this Leinster team, so they can't be taken lightly, although their record this season is pretty poor.
Fergus Ahern there, the halfback, the international, just 26 years of age, but you can see already there's snow on the roof there. He's quite grey-haired.
That's a lovely leap by Ian Jones in the middle of the line-out. So that's one for Jones against Francis. All Blacks once again with the rolling ball. Comes to Deans, up to Bodika. Driving it into the wind. This should hold up nicely. And it's charged. The ball is loose. And Ahern manages to bring it under control. So it'll be a 5-metre scrum. Just under 2 minutes gone, and already the All Blacks threatening to score points. Bruce Deans is very slow to come back. You can't quite see him at the moment. He's still in the in-goal area. He'll come into shot very shortly, but might have just been slightly winded there for a minute.
I think in the charge down, Grant.
So the 5-metre scrum. The All Blacks looking to bring it to the left. Here's Zinzan Brook. No way through there for Brook, though. Held up 2 metres short, and the referee quickly on the spot. Well, Deans charged off to the left, the old classic lefto, but Brook decided to go on his own.
Yes, as the old Murray Mex did me, but I think the essence of the lefto is to pass it, is it not?
Still a reasonable blindside here. Tuangamata going one way, the All Blacks going straight ahead though. Controlled by Brook, and through he goes, and Zinzan Brook scores the first try of the game after just 3 minutes play. The All Blacks obviously have the superior weight in the scrum, and Zinzan Brook in his 15th match scores his 15th try for the All Blacks.
It's a remarkable record, isn't it? But that was sort of a, once again, blue-collar rugby, because they held it in the back and just put in the big grunt, and you can see it underneath the feet of Brook at the back. This is a nice shot of a pushover scrum. Control all the way. When it gets to about a foot short of the line, Brook takes it in his hands and plunges across. Interesting to see whether his head comes out of the scrum. Well, it does. He detached with his hands, didn't it? Try to Zinzan Brook.
Frano Bodika then the goal kicker today. And it struck the post and went away to the left, so no goal from Bodika. But the All Blacks away to a great start in the match. Zinzan Brook scored the try after 3 minutes play, and they lead Leinster, who haven't yet been in All Black territory, by 4 points to 0.
So the man to drop kick out is the familiar figure of Brian Smith, who's a student at Oxford University, but because his grandmother was born in County Wexford, he's elected to try out for Ireland. He's in the Irish team and is playing for the Leinster province. And there is John Timu from the right wing. It was his return kick that gets the line out to this position outside the New Zealand 22. So it's Noel Carney now coming across to throw. Number 5 is Big Neil Francis, and number 4 is Brian Rigney. Rigney went high that time. Awkward ball for Ahern. It's coming for New Zealand, although Steve McDowell accidentally back-heeled it onto the opposition side, and there is offside play anyway, and it's a penalty for New Zealand. A lot of these New Zealand players today hoping to catch the eye of Alex Wiley with a good performance in this match. And that's a pretty useful kick by Boddicker. He left it close to the touchline so that Fergus Ahern here had no option but to reply. New Zealand gets the throw into the line out. It's a pretty familiar All Black tactic. So this is Warren Gatland. Ian Jones is in the middle. Number 4. That's a good jump there by number 8 forward Andy Blair. But it's Alan Wetton, number 6, out into the All Black backs. Boddicker slipping. It was rain this morning, so possibly parts of the ground maybe still a bit slippery. But this is Frano Boddicker, his first game for a fortnight, so he'll be keen to get back into the rhythm of playing. Grant Fox played the last 3 games in a row. There's Francis. He's certainly a good leaper, but he didn't get his hands on that one. Referee Guy Moret signaling for an advantage there, but he's dropped his hand. Is now out with Deans. Boddicker, a little, trying to find Tuingamala, who handles the ball in a very uncertain manner there in midfield and went down. Now Boddicker. Timu. Carried on there by Schuler.
Good to see Vainga Tuigamala getting involved. Interesting, he's got a number 14 jersey on, playing on the left wing. The wingers have swapped numbers for some strange reason.
So this is Bruce Deans. Fergus Ahern. Boddicker, little left out. McCahill straight to Tuigamala. Still looking a bit uncertain. Towed ahead by Boddicker. But there was New Zealand players coming over the top, says referee Moret of France. And this is a defensive penalty for Ulster. For Leinster, I'm sorry. 2 penalties to 1 in the early stages of this match.
Well, it really has been all the All Blacks so far. Leinster haven't had a look in at any stage. And the All Black team have just totally dominated the first 5 or 6 minutes of this game.
This is an injured player. This is Brendan Mullen. Fergus Dunley, the fullback, in fact. He's a player from the Lansdowne club, which is here on the ground. And you can see he's an experienced international. Using the left boot this time of Fergus Ahern. And the man who'll be the Irish halfback when they come back here in 10 days' time clears up towards halfway, Fergus Dunley. The time gone 8 minutes in the first half, and New Zealand are leading Leinster in the first match in Ireland by 4 points to 0.
So Warren Gatland to throw to this line-out. That's another big leap, but an uncontrolled palm by Neil Francis, who certainly gets high, but that's about all you can say at the moment.
That's one of the problems of the Irish team, the uncontrolled ball, and poor Fergus Ahern here last season in the international team had to clear up a real mess there behind the Irish pack.
Steve McDowell at the front of the line-out. Nick Popplewell, the new Irish prop, beside him. This time Francis comes through and overwhelms Deans. Picked up here by Kevin Schuler. And that's good tidying up work by the Manawatu flanker. Playing in just his second match for the All Blacks. Of course, he scored a try in his debut game at Newport last week. Gary Wetton at number 2. He's jumping against Brian Rigney. The real battle seems to be going on towards the back. Here's untidy ball this time for the All Blacks. So both sets of lineouts have been untidy. Leinster certainly pouring into this one on the 10-metre line, All Black territory. And a penalty goes against the All Blacks. Now remember that Leinster have the wind here, and it's certainly within kicking range, and Brian Smith is going to attempt a penalty goal. Brian Smith, sometime halfback, of course, as we know, played for Australia as a halfback, but nowadays seems to prefer the first 5/8 position.
Yeah, this is the man ground. You remember, scored 26 points for Australia in that big match they had. They didn't award caps, but that was the one against the World 15 at Sydney last year, when a number of New Zealand players went across and played. So he's a most accomplished point scorer and kicker, we know that. And he's been a big success at Oxford University. And he's just decided that because he's here in Europe for 3 years, he wants to continue playing international rugby. So he's thrown his hat in with the Irish. And here he is with Leinster today, and he's been on the tour to Canada with them, and he's just made his first selection in the Irish international team to play New Zealand.
No, he's pushed it away to the right, so no goal from Brian Smith. And after 11 minutes play, the All Blacks still lead by 4 points to 0. The try scored after a couple of minutes by Zinzan Brook. And this is the first time really that Leinster has had the All Blacks anywhere near their own goal line, and Frano Bodika to restart. Oh, he's taken a little tap kick, fired it behind McCarhill. Now the support comes from Walter Little. Now Ridge is up. Good run here by Matthew Ridge. Support coming from Schuler. Has support from Timo out to the right. Brings it back in field. Gave it to Alan Wetton near the 22. Good play from the All Blacks. They've run 50 metres so far. They've turned it over for Deans, and that man's got to be offside and penalised, and he is. Fergus Dunley, the fullback. I suppose in other games you'd call that a professional foul. And in other games it might get you 10 minutes too, but not so here. It'll just be a penalty. Meantime, way back, Frano Bodika, I think it is injured. In fact, way back near his own 22-metre line, and the referee, Guy Moret, has gone all the way back. David Abercrombie, the All Black physio there. There have been a few injuries on this tour.
Yeah, the record's been pretty good in recent weeks, though. They started off with a bad run there, of course, in Wales, but it hasn't been too bad recently, so let's hope that Bodika's okay here. Remember, he had a problem with his knee in Japan at the end of that tour, and David Abercrombie's having a quick look. Here he was from the dropout. Just took it away to his right, and then they piled in hard on him, and the hooker came down hard on the back of his leg. But it began a good movement by the New Zealand team, swinging away with lots of support play. Ridge getting through here, bring it up towards halfway. Bodika's trotting back to position, incidentally, as we watch this replay. Schuler in good support. Timu out on the right wing, a specialist right winger. And look how the black shirts got in support there, really working hard to stay with the play. And this is where it was a real professional foul by Fergus Dunley. When the ball was coming clear to Bruce Deans, he put out his hand and stopped it, rather than let the ball swing through the New Zealand backs.
So it's Matthew Ridge who's going to attempt this penalty goal. Ridge is going to stand in for Bodika, who's still just flexing his leg around about halfway. And Matthew Ridge, who doesn't get a lot of kicking, of course, with Grant Fox playing for Auckland, and one or two other goal kickers in this All Black side of some repute. So Matthew Ridge from wide out. Holding up in the breeze, but still might be handy for the All Blacks as they palm it down. Coming to Deans. Hacked ahead by Sexton. Sexton leading the charge. But Ridge has done well to get back from across the other side of the field where he kicked a goal, or tried to. And Matthew Ridge makes the save. So that brought the Irish crowd to their feet. The All Blacks ahead after 13 minutes by 4-0.
There's John Sexton, the former international player. What a good run through that was by him as Leinster gather the ball now. And has come to Ahern. He's a good little left foot kicker into the box, a good one. Tuingamala, who's looked very tentative, makes the catch. Oh, he's struggling to get going, isn't he, Tuingamala? Right out in front of the goal. However, we must say that was a good catch coming in over his shoulder. But a good kick by number 9, Ahern. And now here is Gatlin, Purvis and McDowell. The front row, and what a lovely setup. Alan Wetton up to halfway. The prop forwards breaking out there. So if we continue to see this kind of action, we're going to see a really good ball game this afternoon. First of all, Leinster roared upfield after New Zealand had taken it 50 metres into Leinster territory. And now the All Blacks front row forwards breaking away. Who was that? Was that Purvis or was it Gatlin?
Warren Gatlin, I think, Keith. Yeah.
Gatlin, yeah. So here's Ahern. Again, the left footer pushing ahead. And Tuingamala, a good catch. But he's not looking anywhere near 100%, Inga, the winger. And that's a great shame because he looked so good back in the early stages of this tour, especially against British Columbia and at Pontypool. But there's Matthew Ridge, safe kick back to touch for him. Now another penalty for Leinster. Down on the sidelines we have a player warming up. It's Craig Innes. But that could be for any number of people. Could be for Tuingamala. But it's going to be another shot at goal here for Brian Smith.
Yes, you're quite right. Playing a Tuingamala certainly doesn't look anything like 100% fit for this game. I don't know whether it's a physical thing or a psychological thing, whether he was worried about the injury rather than actually having the injury. But so far he hasn't been able to stretch out. And I noticed also that Alan Wetton just wasn't quite stretching out as Gatlin made that break either. Both these players have had quite serious injuries.
It's a hard ground to kick on at the moment. There's the touchdown. Well, there it is by Boddicker. Sun streaming down, but most of the ground covered by shadow from the big stands here at Lansdowne Road. Remember, this is the rugby ground where the railway line runs through the grandstand. That's the one the cameras are in. We'll let you know when the trains go through. Wetton gets the deflection. Away it goes again to Warren Gatlin. Alan Wetton, Purvis, Deans, Boddicker. Looked like some offside play there from Leinster to me. Number 12 is Paul Clinch.
Yeah, I'd never been here before, Keith, and when you told me that the railway line ran through the grandstand, I thought you were joking.
Yep, it's just underneath the rows of seats. Goes through the back of the stand. And the trains come through every 10 minutes or so. So this is Ahern, who's looking a good sharp player in the number 9 for Leinster today. Blair off, and thus space created for Sexton. Cross comes Ridge and bowls him. Now, it seems to me that Leinster are going to play the game down their right wing with Sexton, because I think they realise that Tuingamala doesn't look up to 100% on that side for the New Zealand team. And that's pretty good tactics, of course. That's Nick Popplewell. Leinster getting very excited here. Smith. Ridge and Timu, confusion. And what a good kick that was by Brian Smith.
Well, it was a good kick, but I just wonder whether with a line out of about 5 or 6 to his left, he might have been better off to pass. As it turned out, it was a good kick. A little bit of confusion in the All Black ranks.
So Ahern underneath the post. Leinster can go left or right here. They're playing well, the home team. Away to the right. Kicking wide for Sexton. Tuingamala not in it. A try for Sexton. He's looked sharp in the first 15 minutes of this game as John Sexton, and it was a case of Leinster again probing down their right wing side into the corner where Inga Tuingamala is, and the big New Zealand number 14 didn't look in it as he had to turn the kick going behind him. Off the back of the scrum was Andy Blair to Fergus Ahern, who checked, kicked through, and Inga turning slowly and slipping slightly, and it was a comfortable touchdown for Sexton. 18 minutes gone. Brian Smith with the conversion. Fine goal by Smith. Leinster in the lead by 6 points to 4. So that is a very just reward for the home team, having a very good 10 minutes as they pushed up into that corner, probing up the right wing side. And it was a very good try, well thought out and executed by Fergus Ahern, number 9.
Leinster were always going to work the blind side here, and it came from the number 8. And look at this pinpoint little kick. And as you can see, Tuangamala was slow to turn, and Sexton through, and Leinster have their first try. So, Frano Bodika. Once again, the holding up in the breeze of rain falling at the moment. Leinster really fired up now. The All Blacks started so well, but Leinster have grabbed the initiative in the last 10 minutes or so. Just a light shower of rain coming across the ground. I don't think it's going to be persistent. So 6 points to 4 then, halfway through the first half, and now Fergus Ahern to feed the scrum. He's an intelligent kicker. This will come down around about the halfway line. Taken in by Ian Jones for the All Blacks. Good run. But it's been lost. Here is Mullen. And no, too far. Just too far from Brendan Mullen. Well, the All Blacks took it in. You saw Ian Jones make the big charge. He appeared to lay it nicely behind him. But the All Blacks somehow lost it. So just lacking in control at the moment. There's Brian Smith. But really the man who's instigating most of the action for Leinster is the man inside him. Number 9, Fergus Ahern. Here's Deans. Bodika. Nice little sidestep and dummy from Bodika, handing it up to Alan Wetton, just on the Leinster side of halfway. All Blacks keeping it amongst the forwards here. Not making a great deal of ground, but still controlling it. And finally, as a couple of knees sink to the ground, that is enough for Guy Moret. And he calls for the set scrum. As Keith said, Guy Moret retiring after today's match. 20 years as a referee. This is his 4th time refereeing the All Blacks. You might hear in the background the train going by as Bruce Deans goes for a little run. On the 10-metre line, Deans is quickly back there. Has support on his right this time. Good run from Deans. Here's Bodika out to Timu. Bodika has it. Charging ahead over the 22 now. All Blacks keeping the ball in the field of play. Brook back to Deans. Now the ball's loose. Flicked away by Wetton as far as Walter Little. Up to Timu. All Blacks still have the ball in hand. Right in centre field. There for Deans. If they can hack it back. They have now. Here's Little. Here's Bernie McCarhill to Ridge. Good tackle by Mullen. Taken away by Tuangamala. Alan Wetton is there. Now if the All Blacks can stay on their feet, they'll be dangerous, but they've gone to ground. But they've set it again. Marvellous sequence of play here as Deans burrows through. But he ran into a real brick wall. And in fact, Leinster have driven him back to the point where they'll get the put into the scrum.
Well, you mentioned before that maybe Smith should have passed when there were men outside him. Maybe Dean should have let that one go. The whole All Black back line was standing out to his right, and Deans went straight for the heavy traffic area and got thrown back.
Injury to one of the Leinster players. It's Brian Rigney, number 4, who's on the deck. But that was a lengthy sequence of play. The All Blacks certainly kept it alive. But Leinster have been pretty ferocious in their defence so far. Still the rain is sweeping down. It may or may not be obvious to you at home, but there is quite heavy rain falling here at the moment. The All Blacks playing into the wind in the first half, and Leinster lead by 6 points to 4. Let's have another look at this as we pick it up. Looks like the 22-metre line. And the All Blacks, this is really the end of a long sequence of play as we go back live now to the scrum on the line, and Leinster getting shoved back and taking it away as Andy Blair, the number 8 forward. Looks like the All Blacks have taken it away from Leinster here. They've got it, well, they appeared to have it. And Guy Moret is going to set the scrum. This time it'll be All Black ball. And All Blacks seem to have the superior weight in the scrums. 23 minutes gone in the first half. 6-4 Leinster.
Set again. Will the New Zealanders spin this one? It is being spun none into the backs. Boddicker, McCahill, he's lost the slippery ball in the rain. Lost it forward. Guy Moret with that familiar signal. They'll try to put Walter Little into the gap there, I think. He's certainly a dangerous player, number 12 for New Zealand. And McCahill spilled the ball forward. A chance now for Leinster, leading 6-4 to ease the pressure on their line. He's a left-footed kicker, Ahern. So he's got it away to Smith for the clearance. So there is the man who had 6 caps for Australia. There is an injury top left, you see on your screen. The player's going to carry on. Des Fitzgerald. See how strongly the wind is favouring Leinster in the first half. They've played New Zealand 3 times before. They've never beaten them, but 3 times they've gone very close. Long pass, Ridge going through, kicked away by Smith. Good save by Turingamala, but it's on the Leinster side. Good play by Clinch. Now Rigney. Well, any thoughts that there'd be a holiday for this team after the tough, pressurised rugby in Wales have gone right out the window already. This is a really fine effort coming in from Leinster there. They're a side with real spirit, and they've pushed the All Blacks so far. They have the lead, of course, and they're going real well. Twice the ball's gone on the New Zealand backs, and twice they've spilled it forward. Here's Ahern. This is Blair away. Infield to Leahy, number 6. That's the fellow whose Christian names are Kelvin Tremaine Leahy. There he is, number 6. But New Zealand have got the roll away here. Holding together like a set scrum now. So Leinster can only watch and admire. That's 20 metres. This is New Zealand making a reputation for themselves worldwide with this thing they call the rolling maul. And there's a penalty there for New Zealand at the end of... now that was quite a good one, Grant. That was just about a Commonwealth record.
Absolutely. I think Guy Moret got sick of it, quite frankly, and decided to blow it up. The only way he could think of it was to give a penalty.
Zinzad Brook from the penalty, up to halfway. So 27 minutes now in the first half. Leinster still leading by 6-4. The rain seems to have gone, the sun is out. And it's a good game of watching here live from Lansdowne Road.
Absolutely. Sexton the try for Leinster, converted by Smith. Zinzan Brook the try after 2 minutes for the All Blacks. Now Brook picks it up, gives it away to Deans. Here's Ridge, who's had a good game so far. In again. Support a little bit slow getting there, but they've arrived now in time to haul it back to Deans, to Boddicker. Bit of confusion in the Leinster defence, but finally the captain, Paul Clinch, gets the kick away, but he puts it out on the full. Ball might just be a little slippery at the moment. There has been quite heavy rain, and both sets of backs have experienced problems in the handling department in the last couple of minutes.
We should remember, Grant, I suppose, that New Zealand will have the advantage of the wind in the second 40 minutes. They're a team that's played a lot together, practiced hard, of course. Leinster just have a handful of games behind them in the new season.
Jones got a hand on it, nicely tidied up by Schuler this time. So the All Blacks do have some clean line-out possession and a chance once again to set up this rolling maul, which no side over here has really been able to combat. So away they go again, edging their way down towards the 22. The ball is there with Zinzan Brook at the moment. Alan Wetton's joined again on the far side. He'll carry it on. They take it one way then the other. They've been to the left. Now they're going to move off to the right. Can't really go straight ahead because that's where the opposition binds. Now they come across to the left again. Finally someone goes to ground, so they have to release it. Here's Schuler. Got up once again onto his feet. There it is now for Deans, away to Brook. Good hard grafting play here by the All Blacks. Now McDowell up to Gatland, and good tackle made on Gatland, and a couple of good tackles in there. I thought Gatland was there, but he was taken well by Brian Rigney, and then Deans was almost through and he went down as well.
Great tackle by Nick Popplewell there as well. Two excellent tackles by Leinster in defence.
So Leinster have the put in, but they don't seem to have the sufficient shove in these scrums. So they may well get pushed off this one. 6 points to 4. Leinster ahead. Lovely fine day now here in Dublin, so we've had our shower of rain, hopefully. Ahern waits, but once again the scrums have collapsed. One of the blights really on the modern game is the shambles in the scrums. If it's not collapsing, it's reeling off the mark, or it's someone's not going down, or it's all over the place. Right, it's in this time. Leinster holding, only just though, and it's back to Smith, and that's touch and goal, so it'll be a 5-metre scrum now, and the All Blacks will have the put in. Now the All Blacks know that they have the ability to push Leinster over. Let's see what they do. Just on 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Leinster have the wind in the first spell. They lead by 6 points to 4. This time Steve McDowell can't get his head in. Well, it really gets to the ridiculous stage at times. We've been stuck in this left-hand corner here for a couple of minutes and achieved very little. Right, this time, All Blacks pushing. Brook holding. Still controlled by Zinzan Brook, and he burrows through and he's got another one. No, he hasn't. It's a penalty against the All Blacks. Infringement in the scrum, and Guy Moret pointing at Zinzan Brook, although asked by Alan Wetton what the story is. Now he speaks pretty good English, so won't be any problems the All Blacks understanding. And Leinster now get the chance to clear. Lovely kick by Fergus Ahern. So it all came to nothing down in the left-hand corner for the All Blacks. 6 points to 4. Leinster lead. 9 minutes remaining in the first half.
So New Zealand haven't yet put together a back movement of consequence. They're being held in the forwards. I think you'd agree they're probably on top in the forwards, but it's a pretty good effort so far by Leinster. Now Deans out to Boddicker. Tuingamala pulled it in as extra man out wide. Now Walter Little trying to get through. Snaffled up by Paddy Kenny, number 7. Fergus Ahern at the Smith. Whistle's gone. A penalty for New Zealand. And that's a big disappointment for the people here at Lansdowne Road, as they felt that kick by Smith would have been dangerous, and indeed it might have been.
Well, it was a great kick. It went into touch a half a metre from the corner flag.
So the New Zealand team, you see, lining up the forwards. Is this the one with Zinzanbrook coming through the middle again, such as we saw over in Wales? Let's have a look. It's Gary Wetton running wide. Infielder Purvis, number 3. On the 10-metre mark in Leinster territory. So they're trying to get it moving again. It ain't pretty, is it? Two number 5s there might have clunked heads, Francis and Wetton. Here's McDowell. He's got incredible explosive speed, McDowell. That's the 22 there. Carried on by Brook, who got in a good burst too. Ian Jones in support. Gatland, who's had a good game. Boddicker, Little. Good tackle on him by 2 men. Now Ahern, he got bowled by Schuler. And the ball lost forward by New Zealand. Leinster ball. Ahern getting up slowly. That's because Kevin Schuler hit him like, well, dropped the piano on him. Got a chance now for Leinster again. And they've been bravely keeping the New Zealanders out this last 10 minutes. They have it in the second row. Away to the steady kick by Smith, which has gone up in the air. Ridge waits. Good catch by Ridge. He's caught by Sexton. Good work by Paddy Kenny, number 7. Deans under this one from Ahern. Walter Little. Brook. And players within the 10-metre circle from the kick by Ahern, and I think that's probably a good decision by referee Guy Moret, although there's a lot of Irish people here don't agree. Back goes Brian Rigney. Here's Gary Wetton. Steve McDowell has handled the ball a lot today. Graham Purvis. Now here it comes. Again, Steve McDowell, first cab off the rank. He's through. Alan Wetton in support. Again, Gatland. His front row is having a good game today. Here comes Tuingamala. And number 7, Paddy Kenny, got one in the side from one of the New Zealand forwards coming through. But New Zealand have won the right to the put in here. Time gone is 37 minutes first half. They want to get the lead by the turnaround. My word, the New Zealand front row are having a field day in the open with the ball in hand.
Yes, indeed they are. Isn't the Leinster tackling magnificent, though?
There's another train rumbling through as the scrum is drawn. This is this little move away to the left, but Leinster's defence is good. And look at the way they're in on top of Brook with Leahy and Rigney, bringing the New Zealander down, 1 up, 1 down, and down goes Zinzanbrook. Their New Zealand reputations mean nothing at the moment. It's a great effort here by Ulster. They're in the lead by 6-4 late in the half.
So Deans, another scrum close to the line. The All Blacks once again are going to have a shove. Already a try scored by Zinzanbrook after 2 minutes. Controlling it, Brook, and driving close to the line, but not there yet. And the ball's been ripped away, and Leinster opening it up with Clinch.
Brilliant.
Well, you'd have thought Leinster had scored a try to hear that. Magnificent defence. That really has been one of the features of the first half. And way, way back, you can't see it at the moment as play continues. Alan Wetton is very, very slow inside the 22. Now this is a poor kick by the All Blacks. Smith waits, gives it away to his fullback Dunley. Leinster just out from the 22. And they've lost it. Now here's Deans. Boddicker. Tuingamala hands one man off. Not running with any real freedom. Here's Gatland again. He's had a great game. Now Schuler. Into the clear goes McDowell. Purvis, the front row have all been there again. 10 metres out from the 22. Huge line-up here. The All Blacks have to score if they can get it through. But they don't. So Leinster survive again as Deans takes it out. Here goes Brook. Zinzan Brook. Back to Timu, and John Timu finally gets the try after an amazing build-up. So John Timu has scored the All Blacks' second try to give them the lead by 8 points to 6. And it's been tinged somewhat, I think, by the fact that Alan Wetton is very, very slowly walking back towards halfway, and I think that hamstring's at it again. Now here's where it all started. Well, in fact, it started a long time before that, but we'd be all day playing the replay.
You see Alan Wetton, see there he is there. He's saying, please don't throw the ball to me. Put his hands up, and the play went on from there.
Yes, he's in a bit of trouble, all right. So there's Steve McDowell, and all the All Blacks had a go here. Graham Purvis battling on. You can see Alan Wetton in the foreground again. Now look at him, very, very gingerly on that leg. And here's Deans, and away they went to the right. Now, if the All Blacks have been able to transfer this across successfully, they would have been in at that point. And anyway, it died there. No goal. No goal from Frano Bodika. That's half-time, and plenty to talk about in the first half, but we'll talk about it shortly because we'll be back after this break. 8 points to 6.
Official sponsor of the New Zealand All Blacks.
Well, there I was, just driving along, a load heavy on the back, unaware of the trouble in store for me a little further down the track. Down in that old spinning wheel, I heard that big tire say,
if you don't stop, I'm gonna blow my top. It won't do no good to pray.
And then it bubbled a bit. Oh no, not the bubble. Then it wobbled a bit. No, not the bubble. It wobbled and it bubbled to a bursty thing. Not the bursty thing. Oh no, help, help. Here comes the bursty thing. Help. Oh. And then along came Dennis. Tall tan Dennis. Slow walking Vince.
Smooth talking Vince.
G'day.
Along came long, lean, lanky Vince. Along came long, lean, lanky Vince. Do, 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 do. Do, do. Do, do. Do, 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 do.
You can't beat a banana, energy high, calorie low, any time of the day.
Just go to your General Motors dealer and you're halfway there. With this, you're halfway to a refund on your new vehicle, halfway to a fabulous Hawaiian holiday, halfway to $1,000 cash, halfway to top quality Ricoh cameras, Zeiss Jenner binoculars, and Series 500 car care kits. Buy any one of these Holden, Pontiac, or Isuzu vehicles, and you get to match this with one of these. Everyone's a guaranteed winner. So just call it at your General Motors dealer and you're halfway there.
Mitsubishi Electric and Bright Spot Appliances present the all-new E11 Black Diamond Video, featuring the revolutionary Swift servo system for fast, easy operation. a full-function remote control, and on-screen programming. The new Mitsubishi E11 Black Diamond Video. Only $879 from all Bright Spot appliance stores.
We're just what you'd expect from a Bright Spot store.
And now, back to the All Black Rugby in association with Nissan New Zealand.
This is played just after the kickoff, with again Leinster starting in good form and securing the put into the first scrum. And there's the New Zealand lineup with number 6 Alan Wetton still on the field. He was given a good solid 4 to 5 minutes from physio David Abercrombie, and he's still on the field. But New Zealand playing the game with really about 13 fully fit players, and Leinster are making the most of that as it goes out to the right again. Brendan Muller lost it, got it back again. Sexton. Was that deflected off a New Zealand hand? Referee Moret says knock on New Zealand's ball, and Alan Wetton is in further trouble at the start of the second half. You see the referee looking away. And now he'll come across and check on the condition of Alan Wetton. And this is going to be devastating for the big Auckland number 6 as he limps off the field, and who knows, perhaps he's limping out of the tour. You can see that he is beside himself with disappointment as he leaves Andy Earl to come on. Frano Bodega makes the clearance.
Well, that is sad for Keith, because Alan Wetton has worked so hard in the last 10 days or so to get right. And you can see the obvious disappointment, and a key member of the All Black side, of course. And that'll be another couple of weeks, I'm sure.
Running out of matches, of course, with the Munster match on Saturday, followed by Connacht midweek next week, then the International, then Ulster, and the Barbarians to finish. High to Bodega. This is Fergus Dunley coming inside the ball. Hooks his kick up the field. Ridge is under it, the two fullbacks in the play. Here's Matthew Ridge. Got Bruce Deans with him. Schuler now, 10-metre mark. Here's McDowell, who we know is a great passer of the ball. Not a good kick by Bodega, but I sense there's been a change of tactics by New Zealand. They haven't used the big roll away, rolling maul. They're moving the ball more by hand. Tuingamala. He bounced Fergus Dunley, and they're across the touchline. There is another New Zealander who's not 100%, but at least we get 14 fully fit players, because Andy Earl, number 19's come into the game. One of the big successes of this tour. What do you think, Grant? Do you think they should move it out to the backs more?
Yes, I think so, and they've got the win now in the second half, so they'll obviously play the game, kick it down inside the 22, and then let's see the ball spun.
Carney throws. Francis swings a loose arm at the ball, but Leinster have possession. Fergus Ahern, who's had a good game, back to Brian Smith, who's also looked good, although he didn't strike that one so cleanly.
On the other hand, the Leinster defence, especially in the back division, has been quite outstanding in this game. Maybe the All Blacks are a little bit gun-shy, because they've been scythed down in midfield every time they got the ball.
Four minutes second half. Here's Warren Gatlin's throw. Good run by Francis. 10-metre mark, Leinster territory. Guy Moret, the referee, we've told you, is retiring. He's retiring not because of age or anything else. He's been made a committee member of the French Rugby Federation, which is like the equivalent of a council member of the New Zealand Rugby Union. He can't do both jobs. This is Blair. Good play by the loose man. This is Rigney. Leinster still playing with all their spirit. This is Fergus Dunley. A charge down though by Ridge.
Great combination, short passing between 3 or 4 of those Leinster forwards, and they look pretty handy even into this wind.
8 points to 6. New Zealand lead, no change since half-time.
Only the change in personnel on the field. Randy Earl, number 19, is there now. Alan Wetton has gone. Leinster winning a bit of ball towards the back of the line-out, which is surprising because Earl has played so well in that area. Looks like the All Blacks, it seemed as though they were going to get the ball from that ruck. And they're going to get the put into the scrum anyway, it would seem. So 8 points to 6. The All Blacks playing with a wind that I think might have dropped away a little.
4 lineouts in the second half. Grant Leinster have won them all.
So now here's Deans. He's going to pop the kick over the top. Dunley, number 15, comes in. Tuigamala met him hard. Good challenge by the All Black winger. A couple of them are down and have stayed down. Both Tuigamala and Dunley have stayed down. Tuigamala's rolled over onto his back, you can see, but Dunley hasn't moved, and the All Blacks are concerned about him. Now that's nice to see that. The All Blacks have rushed to the scene because they were concerned, greatly concerned about Fergus Dunley, and he hasn't moved, and they've immediately called for medical assistance. And I think he might be out. And I don't think Vainga Tuigamala is in great shape either. So let's have another look at this. It was a real clash of bodies, perfectly legal, as Dunley went in to go for the ball. Watch Tuigamala, his eyes on the ball too. Look at him, he's looking up, bang. And they really thumped and didn't Dunley go down. He just went head first. And I think he might have sustained concussion, and Tuigamala has got a leg problem.
That's Tuigamala there to the left, but there's immediate concern for Fergus Dunley, a local player from the Lansdowne club. Recently stood down as the Irish fullback, but a fine player as he's shown today. Courageous player. Let's look at that again. The interesting thing was you said there was no obstruction, Grant, you're right, but Boddicker and Smith took each other out away to the left, and then that fearsome collision. That's one of the worst things that can happen in a rugby match, a collision between 2 men committed for the ball, and Dunley is down, and I think that's down and out.
So that's sad.
So both sides are warming up replacements. Niall Farron from the old Wesley club here in Dublin, not far away in the suburb of Donnybrook, and Craig Innes warming up in New Zealand. Look at that again. You see Tuigamala. First of all, see Boddicker and Smith collide and take each other down, and then Inga and Fergus Ahern. Ball comes down, boom, and down went Ahern, and I think the players could sense immediately that that was a serious fall by Dunley.
There's Craig Innes. And I don't think Vainga Tuigamala is going to stay on the field. He's been walking very, very slowly away with Dave Abercrombie, the All Black physio. I'm sure he'd also be upset at the collision. Not only his own physical problems, but the problems of Fergus Dunley. This is Niall, well, there was Niall Farron, and there is Vainga Tuigamala. He's very slowly left the field, and Craig Innes has gone on already. So both of the players that came into this match under an injury problem, an injury cloud, as we have a look at Niall Farron, the replacement. Both of the All Blacks that came in under an injury cloud have unfortunately left the field. So that's the sad sight of Fergus Dunley being taken from the field. And we'll just have to wait and maybe bring you some information on exactly what the problem is.
The Leinster substitute number 16 is N. Farron. And New Zealand replaced number 14, B. Tuigamala, with Craig Innes, number 17.
So the All Blacks now have 2 replacements on the field, Andy Earl and Craig Innes. And Leinster have 1. Niall Farron is now on. There is Craig Innes. He's popped out onto the left wing side. So play to resume after about a 5-minute break, with the All Blacks attacking, but Leinster have the ball, and Fergus Ahern has kicked for touch. So 8 points to 6, and after that long break, we'll still only be going 6 minutes in the second half. But quite a sobering experience, I'm sure, for everybody. Lovely leap by Gary Wetton. The All Blacks now have to get back into this game. They're ahead by 2 points, and they're 15 metres out from the Leinster line. Things getting a little willing in there, and Guy Moret, as French referees tend to do, goes in and hauls the two combatants apart. Andy Earl involved with Des Fitzgerald. Nothing more than a good Sunday afternoon scuffle.
A Donnybrook, perhaps.
A Donnybrook. Now, you're dying to tell us about Donnybrook, Keith, so I'll give you a chance in a minute. It's a place not too far from here. Here goes Zinzan Brook. Nicely run onto by Andy Earl. There's the goal line creeping ever closer, and the All Blacks seem to have this one under control. It's in there, you can see it, and just as the whistle goes, the ball comes back. Eight points to 6, the All Blacks lead. And now 7 minutes gone in the second half. Brook controlling. Leinster holding at the moment. All Blacks crabbing across to the left. Now Brook getting the All Blacks in behind him, and he's fallen short. So once again, valiant defence, brave defence by Leinster. Zinzan Brook looking for his second try. John Timu scored the other. It's 8 points to 6, 8 minutes into the second spell.
So here's Bruce Deans now, another attacking position. Will New Zealand chance it into their backs, or will they stay with the steady stuff? Here it comes. Boddicker, Little. Good defence on him by Clinch, and is secured and lost again. Shula wide to Timu. McCahill, and McCahill's in the corner. Well, that was a try for New Zealand, but it was very bad luck for Leinster, really, because they had the ball to clear, but they lost it themselves. And Bernie McCahill, a man who's feeling very much at home here in Ireland, is in for the try. McCahill, whose father comes from Donegal, his mother from Galway. It was a wee bit of a debate as to whether it would be kept in the forwards, but wisely the All Blacks are making some variations. Now look how the All Blacks lose the ball here, but a very good tackle by Clinch here on Little. But here it goes, it's secured by Mullen. His pass to Kenny is lost to Shula, and then wide out, Timu makes the pass with McCahill coming around him, and this is McCahill's second try for the All Blacks. Conversion attempt by Boddicker comes up short, and New Zealand are 3 converted tries now to 1 converted try, and are leading by 12 points to 6. The crowd here are giving Leinster the big shout. Boddicker and Ridge haven't kicked a goal today for New Zealand, but as the play resumes, it's 12 to 6 to the All Blacks.
Well, in fact, we're going back. It would seem to have a look at this try again. I can tell you that in the live situation, the ball didn't go 10 metres, so we'll have a scrum on halfway. But anyway, looking back at this try that was scored by the All Blacks, and Leinster did have it, and it was lost by Paddy Kenny, and the All Blacks quickly onto it. A nice running by Bernie McCahill to go outside Timu and score the try. So here we are. The kick from Brian Smith didn't go 10 metres, and the All Blacks have the scrum right on the centre of halfway. Now Deans. Oh, that's a bad pass. Fell short of Boddicker, putting Boddicker under a lot of pressure, but he's done well. He stood in the tackle. Deans has it again. Now what have we got here? Maybe he ruled a knock on by Frano Boddicker. He was just waiting for advantage. I think we've said before, it's difficult at times with referees who don't signal there is advantage being played, and Guy Moret on that occasion didn't. So Ahern now feeds the scrum. Away it goes to Smith, drilling it into the breeze. Coming down just out from the 22. Good take by Ridge. The All Blacks piling nicely in over the top. Back it comes to Boddicker. Boddicker's kick, not a particularly good one. This is the new man on the field, Niall Farron. Taken by Timu, and the tackle, I was going to say completed by McCahill, but Farron somehow managed to stay in the field of play. Farron and McCahill having a little battle off the ball. Bernie McCahill, one of the most mild-mannered of men.
I can't really see what that was all about. I mean, they were just hanging on to each other and decided to throw him over his hip.
Nothing much came of it anyway. So 12 points to 6. 11 minutes gone in the second half. Deflected by Francis. Here's Schuler charging through. Good run by Kevin Schuler. Ball left on the ground for Deans. And Deans kicking up the touchline, and now it's out on the full. Well, a little bit of confusion there in the All Black ranks. They left it for Bruce Deans, and Deans kicked it out on the full. A lot of noise being made by this crowd here at Lansdowne Road today. It's obviously very pro-Leinster, and they've roared on occasions. Perhaps even louder than the noise we heard last week. Mind you, there wasn't much for the Cardiff crowd to shout about. Here's the kick from Boddicker. Waiting as the left winger. Peter Purcell bounces away. Out to Sexton, the try scorer, putting themselves under a bit of pressure here, and the All Blacks have got possession. 10 metres out from the line, and they're on the charge. Ball is there. Still holding it up. Andy Earl appears to have it, number 19. Still the Leinster defence holds. No, the All Blacks are away again. There's Steve McDowell picking it up. McDowell still holding them up, getting towards the line. Now the All Blacks bring it to Craig Innes. Gary Wetton charging, and I think it was the All Black captain who got across right in the corner. Yes, it is Gary Wetton, who doesn't score too many tries, but the All Black skipper goes across to score the All Blacks' fourth today. Once again, it was this concerted build-up by the All Black forwards as they kept it in the rolling maul situation. Leinster did very well, and it looked as though they were in fact going to stall this All Black attack. Here's Steve McDowell having a go for the line with Walter Little. In fact, the ball went back. Nicely flipped under his legs there by McHale. Innes did well to stay in the field of play, and Wetton, yes, he got across.
Up there in the corner that Andy Dalton will remember, where he scored the last-minute try to head off the Irish team in 1978, winning by 10-6. Up there in that corner, scoring the last minute of play. But New Zealand's slowly getting an ascendancy here against, certainly on the scoreboard. In the run of play, the Leinster tackling is still as ferocious as ever. They're really committed, are the men in blue. And it'll be a very interesting second part of this match, the 9th game of the All Blacks tour of Wales and Ireland.
Boddicker from the sideline. Oh, that's a good kick. Well, the goal kicking in the match so far hasn't been great, but Frano Boddicker turns all that around with a magnificent conversion from the touchline. And so the All Blacks now with 4 converted tries, at least 4 tries and 1 conversion, lead by 18 points to 6.
Referee Guy Moret has not penalised anybody in 15 minutes of rugby in the second half. And Smith kicks to the tap by Francis. It's gone on the New Zealand side and it's called a knock-on. New Zealand have lost 2 players. Tuingamala and Alan Wetton have gone from the field, replaced by Craig Innes and Andy Earl, who are the 2 busiest players in this New Zealand team on tour. Brook off to Deans, straight to Fergus Ahern. He's not having a good one, Deans. Fergus Ahern, on the other hand, is kicking to land, not to hand. Now here's Niall Farron, who since he's come onto the field has showed a very commendable attacking attitude. The old Wesley captain, Smith. And still lots of ideas from Leinster. Number 13 there is Brendan Mullen. Both those players will be in the Irish team. Mullen, of course, was a Lion, a double international for Ireland, a track and field sprinter as well. Look at this from Leinster. Bustle. Rigney. They're 5 metres out from the All Blacks line. Ahern. Smith. There's the little pop kick again. And did they take Smith out of play? Couldn't find a way through. And they've got the penalty. Number 7, Paddy Kenny, was there quickly. But here's a chance for Leinster to put points on the board. They haven't made the decision about the kick. Yes, they have. Paul Clint says it's going to be a shot for goal.
Well, that was a lovely little touch again by Brian Smith, but he seems instinctively to want to kick the ball for some strange reason when there were once again players lined out to the left. Admittedly, the All Black defence was coming up, but that's the second time in a very strong attacking position that Brian Smith has instinctively, as I say, kicked the ball, and on this occasion it worked okay for the Leinster side.
That's the first penalty goal of the half. The line-outs incidentally favoured New Zealand by 8-3 in the first half, but Leinster have dominated possession in the second, and now Brian Smith has goaled, so that's good reward for a team desperately trying to stay with the All Blacks. There's the score, 18-9, as Smith converts that penalty into points. Brian Smith, the ex-Australian international, playing today for Leinster, and New Zealand now a lead of 9 points as we come to the three-quarter mark in this game.
We must find out about Donnybrook, Keith, because it's very close to here, isn't it?
Well, Donnybrook, yeah, there used to be a fair called the Donnybrook Fair, and they used to have a few drinks, and late in the afternoon all the Irish guys would get a bit excited and have a bit of a scrap, and so the fight became known as the Donnybrook because of what happened at the Donnybrook Fair, and it's now a term known all over the English-speaking world.
Okay, so let's hope we don't see any of those today.
Well, the All Blacks were training there at this club, which is shared by Bective Rangers and Old Wesley, and it's in the suburb of Donnybrook, so naturally the story came to light.
Right.
Wait till I tell you about hooligans.
Well, I've heard it, but a lot of people haven't.
Well, there was a family called Hooligans, and
they
were terrible people, so the expression became, you're behaving like a hooligan if you're a bit naughty.
Okay, now the All Blacks running left. Here's Boddicker calling Innes inside. Innes has the pass, stayed nicely on his feet too, and over the line they go, but the referee has called them back. All Blacks, maybe a forward pass or a little knock on there, and there's another player down, and it's, as you can see, lying over the goal line. It's John Sexton, the try scorer. So there have been a lot of injuries in this game. Here the All Blacks, good run here from Boddicker, looking at calling Innes in field, who took it well, and there was the ball being lost forward as Innes was taken in a strong tackle, and I think Brian Smith might have made that tackle. Looks like a head injury to John Sexton, more of his head showing than a lot of people. So it's a defensive scrum as Sexton goes back. Vastly experienced player, as you can see.
Those are caps for Leinster, Grant.
Well, it's All Black ball into the scrum, so Bruce Deans will feed it, so it obviously wasn't a knock on as Craig Innes was tackled. All Blacks holding again, comes for Deans. Here's Boddicker. The little goes one way, the little kick across now for John Timu, and he's on his own, and John Timu scores a try, completely misjudged by Peter Purcell, the left wing three-quarter, who took his eye off the ball. John Timu kept his eye on the ball and scores his second try. Well, it was all so simple, really. In the end, the All Blacks set up a nice scrum here, nice solid-looking scrum, and then Boddicker lobbed the kick across. Now have a look. It looks as though Purcell's got it under control, and then he totally misjudges it and allows Timu to slip past, take the ball, and score the easiest of tries. So that makes it now 22 points to 6, and the All Blacks have scored their 5th try. 22 points to 9, I'm sorry. And that's the 5th try. Boddicker attempting to convert for the 2nd time. And he does just that. So Frano Boddicker converts the try scored by John Timu. And the All Blacks now lead by 24 points to 9. And we're just now at the halfway mark in the 2nd spell.
There's some of the crowd of 10 to 15,000 here in Lansdowne Road today. The field has been completely sold out for the international in 10 days' time. Here's another look at that try with the clever little kick across field by Boddicker, and Purcell had to turn and lost the ball completely. You see how he was unable to judge the flight as he had to catch it over his shoulder. A try for Timu. This is live action now from the kickoff. Leinster are warming up a player on the sideline, a player of interest to New Zealanders, especially in the Hawke's Bay area. This is, we may see him warming up Chris Pym, who played a couple of games for Hawke's Bay in the 1989 season down in New Zealand, including a big game against Auckland in the championship. Very keen to get on the field. That may or may not happen. Rigney is number 4. Ian Jones number 4 for New Zealand. Away goes Gatland again. Here's Jones. Might be quite light looking of frame, Ian Jones, but he doesn't mind getting into the heavy stuff. Deans. Boddicker looking sharp all of a sudden. Dancing on his feet. Into Deans. McDowell. Timu. Andy Earl. Straight into the setup. It's there for Gatland. Deans. Brook. 4 players fanning out to the left. Ian Jones again. Leinster are under real pressure now. Deans. Carney gets him. Gatland in the game again. Now Schuler has the ball. Tick off the All Blacks one by one as they take part. Boddicker. McCarhill. Boddicker again. That's Farron's tackle. He's away. This time Fitzgerald, number 3, is the tackler. New Zealand still in possession. Another long period of play. McDowell to Deans. 4 men to the left. McCarhill. Craig Innes. Matthew Ridge. And it's finally in touch. And what a good continuous piece of play that was by New Zealand. Wave after wave of attacks. Here's just the last part of it as it fanned out to the left wing side. Ian Jones making the pass further out to the left here. Deans, McCarhill, Innes coming inside his man again. And looking quite at home on the left wing. This is live action again. 24 points to 9. New Zealand leading the brave Leinster 15, who are only just now starting to wilt a little. Jones in possession with McDowell, and they drive to the line. And however referee Guy Moret could sort that out. He's right in the close-up, of course, but that's impossible to tell. So it's a 5-metre scrum. So enormous heat coming on to the Leinster team now. They're looking a bit ragged for the first time. They're just scrambling to keep the All Blacks out here. All right, this is live action. Deans, away to Boddicker. McCarhill, complicated move. Sees McCarhill running freely, and that's accidental offside. No, he went behind the man, and it was a bit of a shambles, really, in midfield, that New Zealand move there. They didn't get away to a good start with the pass from the scrum to the first 5. And then it all went wrong with Ridge coming through, and McCarhill went behind Ridge, and that's shepherding. Ex-Brisbane player, ex-Manly player in Sydney, Oxford University now, and of course Leinster. Brian Smith, number 10. "24 minutes gone, second half." Played by Paddy Kenny, number 7. Here's Ahern. He's a good runner in the break. Looks a bit like Sid going there as he went through. Low centre of gravity. And that's a bit sad for Leinster. They cleared the ball to their backs just as referee Guy Moret signalled the scrum with their ball in. So 24-9. 3 tries to New Zealand in the second half to McCahill, Gary Wetton and Timu. Brook and Timu scored in the first half. It's 24-9.
Away it goes to Smith. Has Ridge scrambling across this time. Just out from his own 22. Ridge, though, has the wind behind him, so he's able to bang it away downfield. This is the new man on the field, Niall Farron. And his kick is taken by Ian Jones, but in fact the kick from Farron was out on the full. And so the line out goes back to the 10-metre line in Leinster territory. It was 8-6 at half-time. The All Blacks have turned around with the wind behind them in the second half and have scored those 3 tries. But there has been a toll, and the toll is Alan Wetton and Vainga Tuingamala, both off the field. Good line-out win by Gary Wetton. Comes across to Boddicker, sees a Little gap. Very sharp indeed. Puts Walter Little into the gap now. Now Little needs some support. He was able to stay on his feet, still on his feet. And it looked as though the All Blacks lost it before they did. Amazing ability of Walter Little to go down in the tackle and bounce straight up again. And he had time to wait for the forwards to arrive. And I think it was Ian Jones who finally knocked it on. Probably didn't even see the ball. This little fella has had a good game, Fergus Ahern. Bruce Dean's playing just his 3rd match on tour. It's been a brave fight by Leinster, but as Keith mentioned a few moments ago, they look as though they're starting to feel the pressure. Those rolling mauls, trying to combat them, is starting to take its toll, and some of those bigger forwards starting to lumber a little. Andy Earl is a fresh man on the field. He's keen, number 19.
I wonder if New Zealand will regret playing Alan Wetton and Tuingamala in this game. Playing 2 players who didn't look as though they were 100% when they came onto the field.
Here's Ahern, waiting for it to come back. Finding Smith, who is onto his left boot this time. That's not a bad kick. Keeping it low, as anybody who's played at Athletic Park would know, on a howling northerly or even a howling southerly. Keeping the ball low and near the touchline is the way to go, and that's precisely what Brian Smith did. All Blacks are hit by 24 points to 9, and there's a problem out on the right wing side. I think it's the winger John Sexton who was receiving attention earlier. It was a head injury on that occasion, but now it looks as though he might have a leg problem. See the bandage around the right knee there. And it looks like we may get another replacement onto the field. So there'll be applause here for the 26-year-old John Sexton, who scored the try, the only try that Leinster have scored so far in the game. Alan Rowland will be the man.
Vinnie Cunningham, Graham.
Is that what it is? Vinnie Cunningham? I got a different piece of paper. So there he is, out on the right wing side now. Play continues. Leinster appear to have the ball, but the whistle goes and the All Blacks get the put in. Guy Moret, they're having to explain his decision.
Baseman for Sexton on the Leinster team is Lee Cunningham, number 18.
24 points to 9, the All Blacks lead. 15 metres out from the 22, the All Black back swing into action. McCarhill's had another good game today. Up to Ridge, but the tackling remains sound. Schuler in after it. Now Earl has it. Deans opening up to the right for the All Blacks. McCarhill's got no one out to his right, so he has to go back and field and get support finally from Earl. So the All Blacks hold it up in centre field here. Popped out to Deans, no one to the left. He has to go to the right now. Little McCarhill again. Steve McDowell. Look at the explosive pace from McDowell. Standing up and just couldn't deliver the pass, but crashing over and scoring the try was Ian Jones. Well, McDowell almost found Gary Wetton and just have to held it up a little bit longer. And Ian Jones, who scored a try at Pontypool, has another one. Now let's have a look at this. Deans went one way, then the other. But the thing to look for here is Steve McDowell as he gets the pass here from McCarhill. And look at the power and the pace of this man as he charges through one tackle. I thought he was going to go all the way there, but it was a good gutsy tackle by Ahern. And you could see that Gary Wetton was right there and the ball was freed, and Ian Jones, good following up, scored the try. Botica's kick is good. And the All Blacks now out to 30 points to 9. And we've had 30 minutes in the second half. 10 to go.
So all those fans from the Hastings High School Old Boys Club will be pleased to see their man, number 21, Chris Pym, come into the game. An Irishman who went to New Zealand during the year and played for Hawke's Bay in the National Championship Series, some of the games anyway. And here's the end of that run as play came to a halt here. Bruce Dean's a little uncertain whether to go left or right. Eventually found the players out wide, and this was a superb run by Steve McDowell. And he took it from McCarhill and burst clear. And you'll see Deans here as we watch the replay. Coming out again. And look at how McCarhill feeds McDowell for a lovely run upfield. And then Jones staying in support. We're going back to the live picture now. And outside the 22 at 30 points to 9. 6 tries to New Zealand. They're opening it up now. McCarhill out to Ridge. Ridge to Innes, and can he run it in? Oh, a flying tackle by Mullen. And there you saw the speed of Brendan Mullen. He has represented the Republic of Ireland in track and field, and he caught Craig Innes when it looked like the New Zealander might run in. So it's a New Zealand team now beginning to express themselves much more through the backs, and that's because they've got the 20-point cushion, of course. Remember this man, Gus Ahern, will be in the Irish team in 10 days' time. So number 21 is Pym at the back of the line-out. McDowell, Carney the hooker, kicked away by Popplewell, the prop forward. A lot of replacements in this game. 5 altogether. 3 on the Leinster side, which of course is in keeping with the new international laws. Deans away to Botica. High ball to McCarhill. New Zealand backline has not functioned very smoothly today. They've worked a few second phase plays out wide, but they've not looked very well oiled and cohesive in closer to the scrum. Seven minutes to play. Ahern away to Smith. Smith again, kicking, this time straight to Ridge. Well tackled by Kearney. There's Dean still going left. Now Innes gets his chance. Smith gets him. 10 metres out. Ian Jones there again. Good performance here by Guy Moret, the referee. Only 2 penalties in the whole of the second half. So again, Brian Smith kicks. It was another case there, Grant, for them letting the ball out, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Not this time, but the previous play when he kicked it straight to Ridge. There were players keen outside him. I don't think Clinch has seen the ball all day in set play.
And would have been nice to see Brendan Mullen have a run, because as we've seen in defence, he's got amazing pace and he's a class player, and we haven't really seen him running with the ball.
Boddicker holds up again. Nice pass by Zinzan Brook. Now here's Timu. Play continuing away to the left now. McCarhill. It's 3-on-2. Boddicker, good doubling around. And Innes is going to get a try. Going in at the corner. And then putting it down. Try number 7 for New Zealand. And they've reached the same score that they beat Wales by 3 days ago, 34-9.
Yeah, that was a lovely try by the All Blacks. They ran it left and right. It was all about retaining the ball. All looked a bit pedestrian out here as John Timu just stood there and fought off a few tackles. Nice little touch here from Deans. Look at that backhand flip. Then some lovely running. Have a look at Frano Boddicker as he gets quickly into the action. Nice pass from Walter Little. And Boddicker running innocent. And that's a very good try by the All Blacks. They just outflanked the Leinster defence.
Boddicker kicks for goal from the conversion. That's another goal for Boddicker. It made a good ending to this game, and it's 36-9, and there are 3 minutes left in the game, which is coming to you live from Lansdowne Road in Dublin in Ireland. The All Blacks against the province of Leinster, and New Zealand now comfortably away at 36-9.
Let's have another look at that try. This is just the end of it. Nice running here. McCarhill straightened it up. Lovely little touch from Walter Little, as very quick hands, and Boddicker drawing the last line of defence. And Craig Innes, who came on the field to replace Vainga Tuigamala in the early stages of the second half, got the try. Kickoff didn't appear to go the 10 metres. Referee has said let's carry on. Now Mullen. Now he's got speed, Brendan Mullen. Look at this. And the pass not taken by Cunningham, the replacement player. But just an example there of the pace of Brendan Mullen. The first chance he's got to stretch his legs today, and he went through. About 2.5 minutes left in this game. It's been a brave fight by Leinster, and perhaps the score is not a fair reflection. 36-9. The All Blacks have been a bit patchy. Mind you, they set such high standards for themselves. Here's a chance, though. Matthew Ridge is on his way. Lobs it in field to Schuler. He's taken 5 metres short of halfway. Nice work in there by Kelvin Leahy, who was able to smuggle the ball away from the All Blacks. I'm sure Alex Wiley will say after the game that yes, he's satisfied, but we have to look at the mistakes we made in the game, which seems to be the normal conversation piece after a win, and that's fair enough too. Alex Wiley is never happy with the All Black performance. He wants perfection if that's possible. There have been a few errors in the All Black effort today, but they'll be happy. They've run up 36 points so far anyway. Here is Paul Clinch, the second 5'8", the captain of the side, and they've turned it nicely on the second phase. Given Mullen another chance. Here's Smith. Smith still going. Back inside to Ahern. Here's Mullen. Good work by the Leinster forwards, driving in over the top, and that's the end of the game. Guy Moret ends the game, ends his refereeing career, and the All Blacks have beaten Leinster by 36 points to 9, scoring 7 tries overall, starting with Zinzanbrook. Timu got a couple, McCarhill, Gary Wetton, and Ian Jones and Craig Innes finished it off. The rest of the points came from Frano Bodika, and for Leinster a try scored by John Sexton, the winger. Brian Smith a conversion and a penalty. 36 points to 9. And your comments, Keith?
Well, a good win by New Zealand in the end. Good performance by Leinster. They went for about 60 minutes. The last part of the game, they weren't quite as authoritative as they were early on. Good try by them. Gary Wetton, the captain, keeps his unbeaten record, 36 to 9. But disappointment that Tuingamala and Alan Wetton went off the field, and I wonder whether they should have actually played, especially Inga Tuingamala. He did not look fit, and you can't afford to play hurt at this level, and it may have cost him. But very sad to see Fergus Dunlea, the Leinster fullback, go off. But all in all, the satisfaction for some of these younger New Zealand players to take part in a pressure game and win by 36 to 9. Don't forget, we have coverage of the Munster game next Sunday morning. And don't forget to be back with us from this ground on Saturday week for live coverage of the All Blacks against Ireland. This is Keith Quinn and Grant Nisbet from Lansdowne Road in Dublin. New Zealand 36 and Leinster 9.